Hi, welcome back to Easy Breezy Math. In this video today, I'm going to talk about something we call party versus war. Now, party versus war is the way we explain negative and positive integers. This is one of the most important videos we do because it clears up a lot of simple mistakes that guys and gals make when they're doing their arithmetic and they're doing those long polynomials and simplifying polynomials or solving equations. And they might make a mistake with that adding and subtracting of positive and negative numbers. Okay. So, one of the things we want to think about is that from now on, we're only adding numbers, right? We're either adding a positive number or a negative number. It's all addition, right? So what we want to do now is we have this concept for a party, which most people understand, or war, which most people understand. Now, what's important about when we teach this is that we don't go through and explain too much. Okay. A lot of the stuff you want them to do is you want your students to do the thinking. You want the person learning to do the thinking and to bring this out. Now, I've had some teachers complain about this when I explain it to them. And for an English teacher or an English minded person, it's kind of like when you give a new word and a new definition. You'll get the definition of that word, but then sometimes the teacher will tell you to draw a picture of the word. You have to come up with that picture or take that word and write a sentence in it. You have to come up with that sentence. This is the same type of concept here. You got to let the students come up with some things because if I tell you, you have the choice to accept it or not. But when it comes from you, you're 10 times more likely, I think, to accept that truth as being true. So I'm going to ask the questions. We're going to use my imagination here a little bit. We're going to pretend this is my actual classroom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these problems here. And we're going to talk about if it's party or if it's a war and what that means we're going to do. Okay. I do have a little bit of a script. Let's see if I can stick to my script. You can use this same script when you're explaining it. If you notice, it's done very meticulously, it's picked out very meticulously just to get the guys to think or the students to think in the right direction of what you want them to get, all right? So the first one I have here is -5 plus 2. -5 and +2. Are they gonna party or are they gonna war? Get my answer? War. That's right, they're gonna war. What happens in a war? People get deleted or subtracted. That's right. So we're going to subtract. We know the difference between 5 and 2 is 3. Who wins the war? Negatives or positives? That's right. Negatives win that war by how much? 3. So that's what we want to go through and say. We want to say all those things just to get to that correct answer of -3. This is the thought process we're going to. Let's take a look at the next one. -8 and -2. Are they going to party? Are they going to war? Well, you see a -8 coming down the street, you see -2 coming down the street. When they meet up, what are they gonna do? Party or war? That's right, they're gonna party. What happens in a party? Well, in a party, everybody comes together. So here, we're gonna put these 2 numbers together. What type of party is it? A negative or positive party? And if you've said negative party, you're right, that's a negative party. How many people party in here? 10. That's right, we say all those things just so that we know that they have the right thought process, -10. How about 5 minus 11 or 5 plus a -11? Is that a party or a war? Correct, it's a war. Who wins the war? Positives or negatives? You might say negatives. Negatives win the war, and by how much? How much do they win that war by? -6, correct. So I have a -6 there for my answer, and I've got it correct, okay? Let's take a look at the next one. Party versus party or war? That's right, that's also a party. What type of party is it? A negative party. And what happens in a party? Everybody comes together. So how many people party in here? -13. Wonderful. Okay. Now I call it advanced because once you get going here, you can go ahead and throw in some letters. That's right, because this is what we're going to see in algebra. We're going to see this later on in our math. I'll have 5x and a -3x. 5x and -3x, we combine those together. Is that a party or a war? Correct, that's a war. What type, who wins the war? Positives or negatives? In this case, who wins that war? Positives win by how much? 2. Correct. So I'll just say 2x, excuse me, for my answer. Okay, take a look at the next one. Party or war? War. Who wins the war? Positives or negatives? Oh, looks like positives win this war also. And by how much? In this case, positives win by 6. So that's 6 in. Great. They could take a look at the next one. -7 and a -2. Party or war? Correct. That's a party. Well, what happens in a party? Everybody comes together. We'll put these together. It's all how many people partying all together? 9. 9 X's. And is that a negative or positive party? That is a negative party. So we have a -9X. Okay. Great, clear, easy way to explain this to get this right. Right here, we have a party or war. What would you say? What would you say? War? Who wins the war? Negatives or positives? Negatives win, and by how much? Just one. So you can write that -1y. And of course, I always let them know you could just write -y. If there's no number in front of the letter, we see at least one of them there, and that's why we put the 1. Okay. Now, when I do advanced, I like to go ahead and throw these in. Just as a general note, you should be doing fractions every day. Just a little couple fractions every day as a math teacher. Don't worry about it. By the end of the year, they'll get it. I can't tell you how many times I've had an algebra 2 class where we have these long equations and they'll say to me, "Mr. Brown, I can do it as long as you don't put any fractions in there. I'm okay." And I'm like, "Well, you got to go to trigonometry and calculus and you can't do fractions." It happens. So they need to be more comfortable with them. Show them every day, show them all the time. What is 1 minus 1/2? First of all, is that a party or a war? Well, in this case, it is a +1 and a -1/2. So we might say that's a war. Who wins the war, positives or negatives? Well, the positives are bigger. We need to know that 1 is bigger than 1/2, so positives will win the war. And by how much will they win this war? Well, for this one, you might have some this one's usually okay. 1 minus 1/2 might take a little thought. Someone's gonna eventually say the answer 1/2. If they don't, we go straight to a picture, okay? I'll take my 1 block, cut it in half. I have 2 halves. If I take 1 away, I'm left with 1/2. So that is my answer for both of these, 1/2, okay? Now, 1 minus 1/3, that one's a little bit trickier for, guys to get. Gals, when I say guys, I mean guys and gals, for to get, but again, I'll go straight to a picture. 1, how many 1/3s are in 1? I sometimes I'll say that. Well, there's 3 of them, and I'll go straight to a picture. Pictures are just great for these. It doesn't take too long to illustrate this picture. If I take one of those away, they're gone, and I'm left with 2 of them 2/3. So 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3. And yes, we did need to do party or war. Positives won that war by 1/2. Okay. So this is a little bit advanced party war, what I like to call it. But got one more here. You can also start putting 3 together here and do party war with 3 different terms. We'll call these terms. They all have a coefficient and a variable. So here, I'll just break it up here. Is this part -3 plus 2? Is that a party or a war? That's gonna be what? Well, that looks like it's a war. Who wins the war? Positives or negatives? Negatives win by how much? Well, just by 1. So this leaves me with a -1n. And then -4n comes down. Now I have this. And is that a party or war? Well, now I have 2 negatives, and that looks like that's gonna be a party. What type of party is that? The negative party. What happens in a party? Everybody comes together, and then we'll have a -5n for my answer there, okay? So again, I had another teacher. I explained this to a group of teachers. We do professional developments at my school, and when I explained this to a group of teachers, um months later, I went into her class. I noticed she had a poster up. I was so happy to see a poster up. But in the poster, it explained everything. Don't explain this. Most students know what a party is versus a war. Have them come up with the story, just like you would in another class. Have them do the thinking. Let them do the thinking. Thank you for looking at this lesson from Easy Breezy Math. Go ahead and like and subscribe. As you guys know, this is YouTube and that helps the channel. All right. You guys have a great day and check out some more videos.